Can you feel the stress that I'm feeling right now, being here on that stage? You cannot. But I swear, that's nothing. That's nothing compared to what patients experience inside hospital. Try to imagine being there, inside the hospital room, surrounded by machines, fear and pain. That's real stress. Okay, now I feel better. Hi everyone, I'm Alessandro and I'm the CEO and founder of Lemons in the Room. Before, I am a medical student. I worked across Italy, Europe and Japan. So I saw firsthand how hospital works, how good they are in treating the body, but how often they forget about the mind. We are an Italian health tech startup on a mission to humanize hospital through virtual reality. Inside this room, I think everyone knows that virtual reality can change the way we see the world. Inside hospital, though, we find something more interesting. Immersive technology have the power to change the way people feels. Did you know that more than 70% of patients inside hospital suffer from emotional distress? That's fear, pain, anxiety. And it's not just in their mind. It directly affects the body. It slows down healing, it increases the need for medication, and it makes procedure harder. Yet less than 1% of hospitals have adopted solutions to fix that problem. The digital therapeutic market, it's huge, massive. Hospitals know they have a problem, they just don't have the right tool. At Lemons in the Room, we developed Lemo, our immersive therapeutic VR platform created to reduce stress, pain, and anxiety for patients inside the hospital during their treatment. This is how Lemo works. This is Diana, inside the hospital for her chemotherapy session. Outside, she's a patient, surrounded by alarms and uncertainty. But inside Lemo, she's guided on a therapeutic journey. Children, they don't just see something, they go on a journey. And in the end, you can hear something never heard inside the hospital. When is the next time I can come back again? And for adults, over 90% of them report lower pain and stress. This is not a gadget. Lemo is grounded over 20 years of paper and publication on the impact of virtual reality over treatment. And now we are testing our own approach and our own protocol with doctors and clinicians. We are already active in more than 20 hospitals, not in pilot, not in labs, real department every single day. We have been recognized by Techstars who invest in us and help us scale our platform. And today we are revenue positive, but more important, impact positive. We operate on an easy and scalable business model. Hospitals subscribe to our VR as a service. They pay a yearly fee, and we provide the hardware, the software, the updates, and the support. We start with one department, pain management, oncology, pediatrics, and we expand inside the hospital as a result. Behind that, an amazing team, two Nikos, two management engineers that lead sales and operation. Lazzaro from Montenegro, our CTO, and so far the best VR developer I have ever met. And he's also a trained psychologist, the perfect match for building therapeutic XR. We work every day with our medical advisory board, made by psychologists, psychiatrists, and clinicians. This is just the beginning. Right now we are in Italy, but soon we will go global. So if you share our vision, or if you like lemons, please come to talk with me. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Judges, if you can grab your mics. And the judges are just going to do a quick Q&A. Over to you.
Thank you for your pitch. Really good. I have a question. So when I put on the headset, what are the options? What is the interface like? What is the program?
Our approach is to offer in the patient different type of experiences according to the procedure and the department in which it's used. So for long procedure, like such as the chemotherapy session, they have the possibility to go on different journeys with mindfulness principles or nature environment created for distracting them and reducing their arousal level and then the perceived pain. For children, for blood drawn, for example, the approach is different because they don't have any control and the nurse has the control to a tablet or other type of input, so she can synchronize the procedure with what the children see. So for example, for blood drawn, the needle insertion moment that is the most painful is synchronized with the most stimulating scene that the children see. And according to those principles, for each type of procedure and scenario, we have the perfect match for them.
You mentioned that there's 20 years of research and that you have your approach to this. How does it differ from what has been tried for a long time and different types of pain alleviation methods through VR, etc.?
Yes, first of all, I would like to say that there are two main fields in which we are innovative when we bring our own approach. One is the type of content and the type of scenarios and experiences that they see, because the literature prove, for example, that nature is relaxing, but the way that we offer natural environment and that they can choose natural environment, for example, is our own approach. And also the type of interaction, the quality of the content. So the interaction way, I had a backup slide, but the way of patient can interact with the VR and the type of journey that they take that is guided with dichotomic choice, so it's really easy. They don't need any training, they don't need any explanation, it's self-explanatory, and we saw that after 3 minutes, everyone from children to 90 years old patient, they're able to interact with their own app and do their journey.
Is that it? One more?
Yeah, I would have a lot of questions, but maybe the most critical one is distribution, but also distribution and training within the hospitals. You mentioned that you've started from pediatric parts and oncology, where the pace of handling patients is obviously different wherever you are. But my wife is a nurse, and when she comes home, she says that I had to choose between eating lunch or having a toilet break. How do you kind of think about introducing another task that the nurses have then to take care of?
Sure, that's one of the most painful point of our integration, and we work a lot on integrating our service in the hospital workflow because we know that's the reality in basically everywhere. So what we do is, first of all, we do some training. It's 1 hour of training for all the staff. Right now it's made in person, but we are commuting remote. That it's really effective. We already tested this approach in a few hospitals in Italy. And how is it integrated? It's too easy because right now the nurse just need to take the VR from the dock that we provide and offer to the patient. She doesn't need to explain nothing, she doesn't need to charge, she doesn't need to do really anything. It's just giving and taking back. And after the patient use it and report the experience or just smile or stop crying, this type of response, nurses and doctors are much more prone to offer to all the others. So that's what we are seeing in our experience in the more of 20 hospitals that we work. And I think that explain the way our approach and why it's working.
Thank you, judges, and thank you, Alessandro. This is Alessandro Napoli, Lemons in the Room. And our next contender for the competition is Anne-Sophie. Would you like to take the stage?
Thank you. Hello, my name is Anne-Sophie Panzer. I'm COO of Zauber. Zauber is the German term for magic, as we are based in Berlin. And we are fixing tourism with our geospatial agents. Those are really clever guides that deliver hyper-personalized experiences with our super smart CMS for phones and soon for glasses as well. So here you can see Zauber. We are 6 years old. We have a team of 23 employees, and we already delivered location-based experiences to more than 2 million users in the last years. We have a B2B software as a service and more than 75 clients, of which you can see a selection here on the slide. So what I want to talk to you about today is how we are fixing tourism because the experience is broken for everyone. On the one hand, you have visitors. Tourists are confused. There are so many apps out there, and still when they're out and about in the city, they are lost. They cannot just simply talk to anybody, and yet they have so many questions, and they also heavily depend on their phone for the whole process of their touristic experiences, and yet they feel so much under-guided, and this is a strong statistic. On the other hand, we have venues and cities, and they spend a lot of money for custom-made software experiences which are super expensive. They have a lot of overhead and they need to be updated. Often there's a technical debt, and also they still don't know a lot about their potential clients. And last but not least, AI is said to be a solution for many of these problems, but still today AI and LLMs are blind. They cannot connect an information about this place with the information or another information with this area. So they're not really made for tourism because tourism needs data and locations and them both intertwined. That's why we at Zauber put away all these old-fashioned audio guides and only guide maps, tours and only chatbots and invited the geospatial agent, which is an agent that you can talk to with dynamic personalized storytelling based on our CMS or own databases that you can put in as a creator. Your visitors can talk to it and ask questions and get contextual answers, and the same agent works in different industries, so we have a higher engagement, personalization and spatial awareness and rate. How does it work? Basically, the camera understands what's in it and combines it with map and geospatial data, fusing it with the brain of our AI, which is a word model. That basically means that the model understands and contextual things and can also segment them. And together with our CMS rules and our super strong CMS, you can create worlds, generative worlds that are alive together with an avatar that talks to your clients. So that's why our geospatial agent is stronger than normal chatbots simply. Let me give you a sneak peek into our CMS. Also here you can talk with it and it automatically, dynamically adapts to your needs and creates the perfect tour for your perfect location and your needs. And it's also use case agnostic. So basically, creating a historical guided tour, you can also weave in a shopping experience. First you guide your user to visit the Brandenburg Gate. Afterwards, you let him stop by a local shop and buy a product or stop at a cafe and later then guide him back to the museum for this experience about Picasso. So here you can see why we are better than generic AI chatbots, which are location blind. Navigation apps don't have any intelligence. Custom-made XR projects, they don't have the latest AI and are super expensive. Generic digital guide apps, they are QR-based tours with no hyper-personalization. And yeah, traditional audio guides, they are just hardware and posters. So that's why I am inviting you to widen your field of view and join us on our funding round. We're looking to raise 3.5 million euros to invest in our marketing and sales and scale up our CMS. Yeah, we want to also, sorry. My name is Anne-Sophie Panzer. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Stay where you are for a moment and over to the judges.
Thank you again. A great pitch. I like the fact that you also next to mobile there's the AI smart glasses. Maybe just a bit more. How do you see that, like practically on timeline? Because and which smart glasses? How do you integrate?
I mean, one thing I can say, my co-founder Stefan is right now in San Francisco meeting Google. They are having something very interesting in their pockets or on their nose. But yeah, I mean, they are. The cool thing about our product is that it does not only work with the soon to be hopefully released AR glasses, but already with smart glasses, because the audio guide is one really important thing, yeah, that can be fine-tuned to your needs, to your location, and and later on, basically AR is another nice add-on that will be then implemented as soon as the hardware works with it.
Thanks. I think the AI agent is a really smart addition to the platform. However, how do you think about distribution? Like, how have you kind of evolved your thinking of distribution over time?
On the one hand, we want to start basically also offering own tours, yeah, with also the general platforms that we know and where these glasses can be handed out. But also we already have a lot of clients in the basically cities, regions, venues that have a need and that are super interested in also buying hardware that really helps them also making money with their these touristic offerings that they want to give out, and they are already offering in another form to their visitors.
What's the ratio of kind of recurring revenue and what is project based?
So right now, recurring revenue is like around 30%. But that's the last sentence that I forgot. And I wanted to say we want to increase our recurring revenue to 2 million with a 30 to 35% gross margin in the next years. Yeah, thank you for reminding me.
Thank you, judges. Thank you, Anne-Sophie Panzer-Zobar. And now I'd like to call on Ashley to come up and take the stage. It's your stage.
Sorry. Hi, everyone. I'm Ashley. I'm the founder of FreeAim. So the dream for VR enthusiasts is to be able to move around naturally and freely in VR, much like Ready Player One and the Star Trek holodeck, but without the technology itself being a burden and making things worse. And hopefully not like The Matrix. So VR still suffers from limited space, unrealistic movement, and motion sickness, which affects up to 40% of new users. It's not immersion, it's a design flaw. And the solution to all of this is to use your full body for movement and interactions, just like you would in the real world. Existing solutions like VR treadmills, they're typically big, they're expensive, they're bulky, and they're unnatural. Each one has kind of different issues. So we set ourselves an enormous challenge. And when I say we're a team of sort of super enthusiasts. Let's call ourselves that. So we solve these problems with compact, robotic, wearable technology. So our solution is FreeAim VR shoes. Limitless, natural, safe, full-body movement using wearable robotics. VR headsets gave us infinite vision, and FreeAim gives us infinite space. So VR shoes are basically sort of treadmills on your feet that allow you to walk in any direction. And we're the first in the world to build these wearable robotic VR shoes. They're comfortable, they can move in any direction, they're omnidirectional, they have foot tracking, visualization, and haptic feedback. So truly, they're a combination of kind of different approaches of technologies and different products combined into kind of one solution. Our recent Kickstarter raised more than £300,000 with more than 250 backers, and we still continue to gain sales afterwards at a higher price, which is very encouraging. And it's not just for gaming. We have a very serious B2B side to this as well. So we already have B2B sales, and the kind of use cases are sort of training, industrial training, safety training, digital twins, so any kind of design where you've got some kind of digital twin that you need to navigate around, and medical rehabilitation as well. We already have a client in New York doing that. So as you can see on the video here, this is an example of the kind of training which would be navigating around an aircraft. This would be like a safety operator kind of training. So how does it work? Advanced sensor fusion, fully automated control, supports all kinds of movements, sidestepping, backwards walking. These are not roller skates. They don't slip or slide. You won't fall over. And let me just quickly show you. So they allow you to stay in the same place. So you can walk just like you would, say, on a gym treadmill, just walk naturally. And they have like rotating drive modules underneath like this. So the way that they work is they constantly track your position and they keep you within a small space, and they're fully automatic. Sorry. Okay. So Traction, we have a partnership with Haptics, a US company. They combined our VR shoes with their sort of high-end haptic gloves to create Nexus, which is what you can see. This is really unique, and this is sort of very high-end, sort of far away from consumers. So this is really for tele-robotic operation, so controlling robots and training humanoid robots for AI. Besides that, our hardware design is complete and it's proven, and manufacturing has started with the Kickstarter funds funding the manufacture. So we are revenue generating, and we've had very positive customer feedback. We have a number of patents, 2 utility patents and a few others. The first patent's been granted in the EU and the UK, pending elsewhere. So our go-to-market strategy is basically to initially establish the funds for manufacturing. We've done that. So the next stage is that, with the manufacturing in place and the supply chain already in place, the next stage is that the seed funding will help us convert a huge amount of interest in our B2B pipeline, convert that into revenue. We have a pricing strategy that works well for both consumer and enterprise. The enterprise pricing is approximately double, but that's differentiated by software features such as data analytics, data and machine learning, and our API and SDK, which is all available to enterprise. So our financial outlook is very positive. We, fairly sort of conservative. The market size is still sort of emerging, but we expect to sort of conservatively sell around 19,000 units by year 5, reaching a revenue of about 13 million. And we expect to be profitable next year, with or without the seed funding. Our product has very high margins, approaching 60% margin. And the share of B2B sales, driven by demand and further aided by the seed funding, this will help us to drive the percent of enterprise sales up over the years, trending towards around 15% of all sales. We're seeking to raise £500,000 at a $5 million pre-seed valuation, so pre-money valuation. We're just starting to pitch today, actually, for this seed round. This is kind of really the beginning for us. And we are seeking a lead investor. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Judges, we're a little bit over time, so if we could ask you to be a little bit brief.
Again, great pitch. Can you tell me a bit more about the team?
Yes, absolutely. So it's myself, and I have a co-founder in the US called Alex, and we have a number of contractors, freelancers that work for us. But we're very lean on our sort of operation and lean on our team. But that's something that we want to change with the seed funding. We need business development, marketing, sales, and so the main purpose of the seed funding is to bring in those expertise.
Can you talk to me about the integration to content? So, if presumably you don't want to create the B2B content, you want to lean on existing ones and others specifically doing that content. So, or on the gaming side, how do you incorporate your locomotion in there?
So on the gaming side, it works with any game in Steam VR, and we'll support the upcoming Steam products like Steam Frame. So any kind of game that involves walking around, basically, whether it's like No Man's Sky or Half-Life Alyx, anything like that already works. We also support a number of games standalone on MetaQuest. That also works, and we continue to increase the number of supported games through our SDK. And we're already working with a number of developers that signed up and working with us. On the enterprise side, basically this works already with Unity or Unreal or any kind of engine like that. So there's absolutely no issue whatsoever with companies, businesses using their own VR applications like with our VR shoes. As long as they use the runtime that we're built on, but that's never been an issue.
Thank you very much. Ashley Foxcroft, Free Aim Technologies. Thank you, Ashley. And now I'd like to welcome to the stage Clotilde.
Hello everyone, my name is Clotilde and I'm the founder of the Olfi company. So I will begin with an observation. Oh, sorry. Yeah, more than 55% of your daily emotions are driven by your sense, by the olfactory sense. So it's so subtle that you even notice that a simple cup of coffee had an impact on your mood. So the question is, how can we talk about immersive technology if we don't take the most important sense into account? That's why I created Olfi. Olfi is a simple device able to add olfactory dimension to VR reality. It's simple, directly plugging on the headset and works with refillable cartridges of perfume. So, in order to have the great sense at the right moment, we use a software part called an SDK, directly integrated in the VR tool like Unity, Unreal, and so on. And you can pilot the time of the diffusion, the intensity of the perfume, and of course choose when you want to diffuse the perfume. And for the perfume, it's simple. We can diffuse any type of perfume. We can diffuse your perfume, or we can also create for you. So what is Olfi? Olfi is already 255 devices sold in more than 10 countries, which represent 4 customers and more than 220k euros revenues for this years. So who are our clients? So we have 4 types of use case, actually. The first one is the luxury and marketing with luxury brands. We worked with training VR for industry, mainly in fire training. We also worked with researchers, so with hospitals in health, with researchers, university. And the last one, we worked with cultures and local authorities for museum, for instance. So when we have a great idea, we also have competitors. So here you have some. So I just want to remind 3 things. The first one, we have the best integration and the best design for the system. We are intrusive for the body and the face. The second one, our clients are self-sufficient to refill by themselves the perfume. And the third one, we are not exactly on the same market because most of them work on the gaming stuff. So speaking about market, we are indeed operate in the big market with a lot of opportunities. But if we reduce this to what we need, like education, culture, marketing, it still have big space on what can we do and can we develop the company. So our business model is really simple. We sell hardware and services. Services like creation content, maintenance, creating perfume, and so on. It depends on what our clients need. And our go-to-market strategy is really simple. We use trade show like this today. We also have website that we have good referencement, and we try to also make strategic partnerships to distribution, to industrialization for the product, and to be able to deliver our clients correctly. So behind the scene, they are a great team. So we are actually 5 in the company. So we have Luna for the communication and marketing part. We have 2 people for the technical and product, and we have last people for the financial and strategy of the company. And I'll do all the rest for the company. And we also have great partners for the perfume, for the business development also, and distribution, like I said. So I'm here because we want to continue to develop the company, really. And we need to accelerate and to be the best, really, on the market. Because we have a great product, we already sell product, and we just need to strengthen the technology, because this is the value of the company. And we also need to increase the productivity to be able, like I said, deliver our clients, and of course to structure a commercial teams, because I am only the one to do this, actually. So thank you for your listening, and I will respond to your question. Thank you.
Judges.
Excellent pitch. Can you tell us a bit more about the pricing strategy? So there's a hardware part and a software part. How does it work?
Yeah. So today we have a package with all of this. We have the device on it, the license with the SDK, and so actually it's just you buy this package, and after you have the smell, you have the contents if you want. But I want to also move the strategy, because we have an efficient product, so we don't sell a lot of perfumes. You don't have like I said, how could I say, you don't consume a lot of perfume, so it's not really a business model based on like espresso. So we will start to create based on the SDK, a platform that you can pilot the all diffusion by your hand. We have started to create an application in order to go to the revenue more often.
What's the What's the price point now, and what's the production cost for you?
So we have 80% margin on the product. So we sell it at, I don't want to make a mistake, but I think it's like $150,000, euros, sorry. And the cost is like 200, almost.
And talk to me a little bit more about the sales process. So you have a potential like distribution partner, but are you actually going to like trade shows or trying to target people going to trade shows to showcase like luxury products, or what's the kind of sales pipeline for you? Is it the end users, or is it more like more distributors of VR content?
It depends on the sector, of course. But for example, if you take the marketing and the marketing, for instance, my interlocutors are innovation teams. They need to show their products, especially in the perfume sector. They need to speak about the perfume differently, because the market is so blocked with all the network, the TikTok and so on. So they want to speak about the perfume differently. So that's why they use VR. But in fact, for the commercial process, we mainly have all our customers in trade show. So in Laval Virtual and Vivatech, this is the 2 places that we made the most of our clients, and that yeah.
Thank you, judges. And this is Clotilde Dubenet.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And next up is Selassie Awiti from Dobinson VR.
Yes, thank
Off you
you.
go.
Hello, everyone. I'm Selassie Awiti, and I'm the founder of Dobison. And basically, what we are doing is bringing African culture to spatial internet. Well, now we know that Africa is the world's most diverse continent, and we have a cultural and creative industry worth over 230 billion. But the problem is that to actually consume this, you have to physically travel for the most part. And we know that XR can mitigate this, but African culture is largely missing from spatial internet. And this causes billions of dollars lost in visibility. And also, our cultural and educational institutions lack the tools and infrastructure to digitize our culture, which means that our culture is being lost at a fast rate. If we don't have, for example, foreign institutions coming into the continent to actually do the digitization for us. And that's why we built Experience Africa. It's a proprietary platform that aims to digitize, preserve, and distribute our culture, both locally on the continent and globally as well. Now, we've built a massive content library with high-fidelity content, from 360 videos to 3D assets to 3D environments that we want to make available globally for distribution across platforms. And all of this data is tagged and available for integration into different platforms, ready for licensing, global distribution. And we want to make it accessible across all platforms, from mobile to web to XR. So how it works is a seamless loop where we start from capturing these assets spatially, processing it to create high-fidelity content, and then distributing it both across our own platforms and other XR platforms, and then monetizing the IP. And essentially, we've built an end-to-end cultural digitization engine. So in terms of traction, we've partnered with government institutions in Ghana and Benin, and it's an exclusive partnership. As well, we've also had distribution partnerships with Alliance Francaise and Wadada Benin. And we also have a partnership with Redbox VR from the UK to ensure that our content on the initial stages is distributed globally. And they also have, we have a partnership where we also get XR kits to distribute on the continent as well. And we've worked across 6 countries, done over 150 captures, and have powered over 200,000 virtual visits to our cultural digitization experiences. And we're on track to expand to 10 countries next year to grow our content library even further. Now, when you look at the market, you either have high-tech platforms that have low cultural depth, or you have local agencies that do not have the high immersive capabilities that we provide. But if you look at Dobison, we sit in a unique space where we provide both cultural authenticity, local access, and high immersive capabilities that none of our competition provides. And this is our ultimate unique advantage, building the content moat where we have exclusive content, and as well as that, we also have the cultural authenticity that no other global or local agencies or companies provide. Now, we extract value in 2 ways. The first way is the engine, where we are licensing and distributing content to institutions like museums, cultural centers, and schools. And then we have the consumer upside, where we have a freemium app where we drive revenue from digital purchases and also booking commissions. And we are scaling this in 3 phases. Currently, we are building the engine and the moat by building our content library and then having exclusive partnerships with the institutions that are relevant to our platform. Next year, we are launching the consumer app, targeting the African diaspora and cultural explorers. And the 3rd phase, we are going to scale globally through licensing and subscriptions to larger global museums and institutions. And arguably, we are Africa's leading XR cultural team. We've been doing this for several years, and we've worked across 6 countries with multiple XR, with multiple institutions. And we also have the support of Michael, who helps us ensure that we are actually producing a product that is of global standard. And finally, we have the experience of working with global brands in Ghana, building various XR solutions for them. So I invite you to join us and digitize African culture spatially. Thank you, and I'll take your questions.
Judges.
Excellent pitch. In terms of the B2B strategy, because that's the part that is happening this year and next year.
Yes.
How do you see that, and what would be the price model?
So we're looking at various price models. Locally, like I said, we are going to be selling the VR headsets, the VR kits through our partnership with Redbox. As well, we are also going to be licensing the content. And the licensing ranges on what package they want. If it's individual content, like some institutions want just particular content, right? We have starting from $250 per content per year, all the way upwards to $5,000 for the whole package for a year, and it's a renewable yearly subscription. And we're doing this for museums, cultural centers, and schools as well. So it's both the content side and also distribution of the content, distribution of the headsets to power these experiences locally. And of course, internationally, all they need is the content, so they just license like that.
And is the objective to go outside of the continent, or mainly as well for awareness inside the continent?
We are targeting both ways, because even in Africa, it's also very hard to access some of this cultural content. Like, you can't travel from South Africa to Ghana easily to do this, and vice versa. So we are targeting both local and also globally, right? Yeah.
You mentioned the multi-platform approach, but everything seems very XR first. How do you see the kind of proportion of what's XR, what's mobile, and what's web-based?
So how we build the content is that obviously we have a VR app that we are distributing to, but as well we have the content that can be easily accessed on mobile phones, from 360 videos to the 360 virtual tours, let's say. And then as well, we have these digital assets that we built through our program that can be integrated into mobile apps, into AR experiences. So it's quite diverse in its applications across these different platforms.
Thank you, judges. Thank you, Selassie Awiti.
Thank you.
Jobison. Thank you. And our next contender is Claudio. And this is Claudio Barsen Pipu from Meta Neural.
Thank you, everyone, and it's a pleasure to be here, an honor. We're very thrilled to be here. We're a US-based company with a foothold in Europe, hopefully developing soon. Our main mission, as you may see from the Pelican Endangered or Safe, is to make sure that we handle a very interesting opportunity for virtual training and XR training in general, right? So Meta Neural, what we do, actually is very important. We're creating an opportunity for companies to use their own expertise to build high complexity VR training safely, scalably, and most importantly, in a way that they're controlling the whole process. Right? So the problem we're facing is that at the moment, VR training, it's problematic. It's known to be the best way to train, but there are bottlenecks in scaling. And this is what we're trying to solve. We identified 3 main problems that we're trying to approach. First of all is a transfer of knowledge from the experts to the developers. Most of our competition is trying to make developers faster. We approach a completely different path. We want to make the experts themselves be the builders of their own training situations because they know exactly what they need. The second problem, which is associated with this, the first, is the transfer of sensitive potential data, IP, CAD models, procedures, technologies that companies do not want to share. Right? This is a very important problem. The third one is, can you actually create the complexity of the simulation that are needed for these companies to be relevant? Can we explore this kind of risk space to find out the bottlenecks and the issues that are actually causing incidents and accidents? That's our very important goal, because VR, again, in itself, it's usually used to build the kind of POC, nice to see demos, but it fails to go to the depthness that the companies really need to find out and pinpoint these complex situations. Now, of course, this is the problem. All training methods are no longer basically good enough, right? So our solution, it's basically trying to do an adaptive, expert-driven XR system or platform, right? Where the designers we become the experts, and they don't need to code, and they don't need to be experts in anything having to do with CAD operations, all of the nitty-gritty stuff. We handle that for them, right? The solution is very simple in a sense, but it covers a lot of complexity behind the scenes, right? We want to make it intuitive. That's why we use natural language interfacing, so the experts can actually speak to our system and create real-time simulations. But at the same time, we handle the complexity behind the scenes. That's very important for us, right? Now, who are we, and why can we do this? Because this is important, right? Myself and my co-founder, Stefan, we have both experience about 10 years in the agency model. We've been building this kind of simulation for companies, and we understand the problems. We're not just new into this field. We're veterans, if you want, in a sense. I have one of the first, let's say, masters in VR from the Netherlands, so we've been tackling problems within the industry for many, many years. We've been working with innovation companies like Shell Innovation, Linde, automotive spaces, so we know what we want to explore. This is very important for us, but also we're not alone in this. We have a team of advisors that are industry veterans from the oil and gas, from the semiconductor space, and also business and angel investors. I'm going to show a very short video, 40 seconds,
MetaNeural,
presenting the
an
platform.
AI-powered XR platform that transforms how experts train, simulate, and collaborate anywhere in the world. MetaNeural adapts to every environment. Simulate mission-critical tasks, explore digital twins, train without risk. You don't need to code, just speak, design, and deploy. With MetaNeural, the power of advanced simulation is in your hands. This isn't just the next step in XR. It's the leap. For safety, for speed, for the future of work. MetaNeural. Simulate anything. Empower everyone.
Thank you for taking this time. This is what we do differently, right? We have an AI-driven and a pure AI approach to scenario generation. We're able to implement agentic architecture where our agents are actually smart entities. The fire is not a VFX, it's actually an agent that can communicate and interact with other agents to provide these complex solutions. And of course, we have the industry-specific simulation and interaction libraries that are needed to be able to create these kind of things. Our solution is called Hazards XR. This is the secret sauce of our, let's say, the moat of our company. This is a schematic of that. And we have some interesting validation. We just got investment from the IA Global Venture Fund as a lead investor, with angel investments following up. We just got them this literally month. Happy to say we have 3 paying customers, 2 more added since we submitted the pitch to the competition. We have 7 active pilots with very big companies from the semiconductor space. And we will also have, let's say, some interesting awards and mentions. Our competitive advantage stands with the fact that we are, as I said, approaching things differently. So our competition it's not empowering the agents themselves. They say they do, but they do it in a very limited way. We do it in a much more deep and complex way. And of course, we have this, let's say, our advantage, which is the Hazards XR engine, right? There's a huge market size opportunity. We know that, but we're trying to go initially for the oil and gas space, and semiconductor, but expanding to other markets too. So there's a huge potential here. Ours, basically, we have an interesting new entity economic model, which is called the base scenario step. We don't charge per user, we don't charge per time. We charge per the steps of the simulation that you can create. And our technology affords us to do that. It's a unique way to do business. We have a SaaS model, which arrives out of that, different models that you pay and so forth. So 20%, let's say, custom development, 80% recurring revenue. Right? And our go-to-market, it's very simple. We're trying to enter pilots with different levels of companies, then extend them horizontally within their ecosystem partnerships. And this is what we're doing, and successfully so. And of course, we're trying to find the right entry points. So this is MetaNeural. We're trying to prevent things from happening. We're trying to train the future of the workforce. So thank you very much.
Judges, we're a little bit over time, so if I could ask for brief questions.
Thank you. Great pitch. For me, the AI part, what is there the moat? what's the data that you based it on? Is that from previous service-based?
So it's a combination we use. For example, the experts, they use their own data to train our models, but they also provide pre-trained industry-specific LLMs. So basically, there's a combination of the custom data, which we don't know anything about. By the way, everything is secure and it's on-prem mostly of the time because of the sensitivity, but it can be also on private clouds. And on top of that, we have our own industry-specific trained or pre-trained models, which have much more in-depth knowledge of the fields compared to the standard models. And AI, as I said, agents are communicating together to create this kind of complexity, and they're all orchestrated by a top OpenAI model.
Can you elaborate a little bit on distribution and go-to-market?
So basically what we've done, other than attending this, let's say, type of conferences, we've been attending most of them in the US, but this is the first European, let's say, event. We're going to companies and we start pilots with them, right? They're paid pilots, and then we have an MOUs with them, which say that if we manage to get the KPIs that they're looking for, or they establish together, then we move to a paid subscription, which is already what happened with 2 of these partnerships. So this is our model. It's very efficient because the moment you get credibility in the field, all of the partners working with the company become almost automatically your potential customers. And this has happened successfully in Mexico, for example. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Claudio.
Thank you.
This is Claudio Barson-Pipu from MetaNeural. Thank you very much. And our next pitch person is Dr. Emma Williamson. Thank you. Emma is from Anemo.
Hi, everybody. I'm Dr. Emma Williamson. I'm a consultant clinical psychologist, and I'm the CEO and founder of Anemo, an evidence-based platform helping complex needs scenarios. Now, as you can see, I've lost my voice today, but I've spent 20 years in the National Health Service helping people in our society who've truly lost their voice. I am a lecturer at King's College. I've built the largest homeless psychology service in Europe, and I've collected the greatest data set in the world on homelessness and mental health. And that has enabled me to recognise the needs of this population. I'm on a mission to help people in our society that are excluded, and I've got an A team behind me supporting me with this work, including Dr. Marco, who is Chief Architect and Technical Director at Imperial College London for 24 years. What's your life expectancy? Well, in the UK, the average life expectancy is 79 years old. But for people that I work with, people like Dan, the life expectancy is 45 years old, living in poor chronic health, experiencing homelessness, mental health, substance use, often experiencing time in prison. They're not only impacting those individuals, but it's costing billions, hundreds of billions in poor mental health that's not addressed, and billions in unaddressed homelessness. We have failing services. And we also have an overstretched, burned out workforce of health, social care and voluntary sector staff. They struggle to know how to work with this population, consistently report a skills gap in helping them, and are leaving the workforce in droves. This is people like Ben and David who are outreach workers. They work in unpredictable, dangerous, challenging scenarios on the streets with deeply traumatised people who may be intoxicated and using alcohol or drugs to manage their traumas. And they need to make quick decisions, assess risk and build empathy fast. And they're not given the chance to do that. And that is not only a problem for them, but it's a problem for my customers who are NHS trusts, prisons, charities who support and employ Ben and David. And that's where Anemo comes in. We're the only evidence-based platform delivering bite-sized, expert-led clinicians in the palm of professionals' hands to help them when they need that most, with over 30 CPD-accredited courses, bringing the latest evidence-based practice. And that's built on my clinical data and expertise, which has shown an 80% reduction in homelessness and an 87% reduction in criminal recidivism. And we're now layering on AI virtual humans to really address that challenge of not being able to immerse yourself and learn in the most complex and risky scenarios. Built on years of proprietary data and having a multi-device access, so we're really not creating barriers for these organisations that need to learn and develop and support their staff. Yeah, delivered across platforms with emotionally intelligent, trauma-informed content that's scalable and defensible with our data moat. Our model is a B2B bulk enterprise or subscription model. And we have a 24K annual reoccurring customer spend. And we already have traction in all of our target customers across criminal justice, health service, councils and charities. Our go-to-market strategy converts free access to sponsorship from the Department of Health and the Home Office into paid licenses. We have an 85% conversion rate from demos and a really super sticky 98% retention rate. And that is because we know we're doing something that people need. We're bootstrapped and profitable. We're working with over 600 charities in 39 countries with a 92% year-on-year growth. And we have a 5 times higher completion rate of our content than industry standards, rated the #1 best trainer by Health Education England. We're bootstrapped and profitable with 100% year-on-year growth, turning over 1 million this year. And I've been working full-time in the NHS while growing the business to this point, but I'm now in the business full-time. We're going to be scaling to 15 million in the next 3 years with boots on the ground in Australia, America, and moving into the elder care vertical. It's a huge market opportunity and it's growing. We have traction in all of our current customer bases. Competitors would be generic e-learning and LMS platforms that don't have the specialist content or specialist providers that don't have the tech and scalability. This is the first time to invest in Animo. We're raising 1.5 million to get to 7 million ARR. Welcome, get on board with our journey. Our mission is clear and simple. We will train 1 million staff in the next 5 years. And if each one of those address just one episode of homelessness, we'll save 20 billion globally and save countless lives. Thank you.
Judges.
Well, the voice held out a little bit.
Great pitch. In terms of the next step is AI and VR. In terms of the platforms now, how much interactivity is there? How are they learning?
Yeah, so we've got a big library of interactive content which has been video-based and building on learners, which has helped us gather our data. We were winners of the Women Innovation Award this year from Innovate UK, and that has helped us build our MVP in XR, which we're just launching now, which is specialising in one module which is on brain injury awareness, with 60% of people in prison and 50% of homeless people with a brain injury. How are we not prioritising that, in itself, let alone everything else? So this MVP is allowing us to further gather data and hone and train our LLMs to move forward. So that's where it's the first time we're bringing the immersive elements in and integrating that with our platform, and it's on our roadmap. Yeah.
Is your current client base 100% public? Or is it private companies as well?
Yeah, so actually about 90% are voluntary sector organisations, but we also have traction in public. And that's really interesting. So they might have a slightly longer sales cycle, but they're super sticky. So we've got 50 NHS trusts and 160 councils, local authorities, as well as over 600 homeless organisations. And we support all of the big organisations like Crisis, Salvation Army, the YMCA, including in Australia, across the whole of Australia, as well as the UK. So we're really targeting global charities as well as big sector, big public organisations. Yeah.
Is there a way to scale also to the private sector somehow? It just feels like you must know it. Like it's
Yeah.
longer sales cycles on the public
Yeah.
sector, etc.
Yeah, we're looking at that, and actually we've been approached by some major global corporations to think about some specialist training that they needed in de-escalation skills, because they really value the clinical expertise that we bring, which differentiates us. We've got, we are having some traction with those, so it's definitely an area that we're moving into. Yeah.
Thank you, judges. Thank you, Emma.
Thank
That's
you.
Dr. Emma Williamson from Animo. And our last and final, leaving the best till last, we hope, is Chris van der Staat from Leyden Jar.
Thank you. I'm glad it says founder. Unfortunately, I'm not the founder of Leyden Jar, but product manager. My name is Chris van der Staat. I'm product manager for Sealite, which is the silicon anode that enables powerful batteries for next generation wearable electronics. So let me start off with a statement why we are here. Statement is next generation batteries next generation devices requires next generation batteries. Today's batteries are just not good enough to power all of the devices that you see here at United XR as well. Next generation batteries, they need to be small so that they can fit all of the different wearable form factors. They need to be powerful so that they can power the future AI and XR applications, a lot of wonderful applications that we saw today. And they need to have a local supply chain in today's geopolitical world. What we do is we use a new material. We use silicon as an anode material. The anode is one part of the battery. We use silicon for that. Today, almost all of your batteries that you have in your phone or in your electric car are made with graphite anodes. They can store 372 milliamp hours per gram. That means that's a measure of how much charge it can store per gram of material. Silicon, on the other hand, can store 10 times as much lithium ion, so 10 times as much charge. Next to that, graphite is scarce. You cannot find it in many places, and when you find it, it's usually in China. On the other hand, silicon, it's abundant. You can find it everywhere, and actually it's the stuff that all of the beaches are made of. It's sand. Now, if you apply that in a battery, you can make the anode 10 times smaller, and with that, you get a 50% higher energy density. So the same battery can store 50% more energy. That's huge, obviously. And this is not just theory. We're actually doing this. So we are producing these silicon anodes. We produce them with these rolls that you see here behind me, silicon anode rolls. And those rolls we ship to cell manufacturers, so battery cell manufacturers. They can use those rolls directly in their batteries, and with that make their batteries smaller and being more competitive. I'll not go through these numbers. They are only interesting for battery experts. But I can tell you it's huge. You cannot get higher energy densities than you get with our anode. And next to that, so that's the main benefit, next to that, it has great rate capability, so you can charge and discharge very fast. You can do it in many different formats, so large, small, high capacity, low capacity, and they can cycle 500 times, which is practical for typical use cases in glasses or in smartwatches or even in smartphones. How do we do it? It's this beast that we use. It's a production machine that's unique for us. It uses a PECVD technique, plasma-enhanced chemical vapor deposition. Very complex, but basically you deposit a thin silicon layer on your substrate, on a thin layer of copper. We're the only ones one of the only ones doing that. And with that, you get a very specific structure of your silicon that works very well as an anode. And again, this is not just a machine that stands there. It's actually producing rolls on a daily basis. And these rolls we ship to customers worldwide. So this year alone, already more than 10,000 cells, battery cells, with our anode have been made by global cell manufacturers. With that, we're prepared to enter the consumer electronics, so the broader consumer electronics market in 2027, with wearables and AI glasses being one of the first sub-markets to get into. That is a total market size of about 10 billion in 2030. How do we do that? We now have one machine, like I just showed. We're actually scaling that up. This picture is currently happening in Eindhoven in the Netherlands. So we're building our first factory, which consists multiple of those machines. And that's enough to power millions of smartphones, and smart glasses. We're also planning beyond that, so we're currently preparing for a gigawatt-hour factory by the end of the decade. So let me finish where I started off. Next generation devices require next generation batteries, and Leidenjar Sealite is, no, it's giving up on me. Leidenjar Sealite is the secret ingredient to power your next generation device. Thank you.
Judges.
Great pitch. Maybe a bit more about the team. Why are you the best team to execute on this?
Yes, so we are a team. We have a founder who is not here today, unfortunately, who has a lot of experience in actually founding companies. And he, together with the technical team, so this is coming from a research organization in the Netherlands, the person developing this has also joined the team, and together they started already some time ago. We're now actually with a much larger team. I mean, to build a factory, you need more than just a few people. So we're actually with a team of over 60 people, working both on the battery side, so we have a lot of battery experts, but also equipment development, plant building, and also financing. We have all of that in-house. So yeah, a lot of experience and combining all the different elements that you need to be successful in such a complex business.
You made a very probably complex process sound super easy and super profitable. So what are the major kind of bottlenecks or challenges for you?
Yeah, one of the main challenges is on that machine that you just saw, to get as much high quality material out of that, which works well in a battery. So a battery is a very fine balance of different parts working together, and our anode needs to fit in there. And at the same time, we need to produce it at a low enough cost. So how you set the machine, basically, so how fast you let the material go through it, how much it works with gases, so how much gas you put into the machine, all of those things are things that we need to develop, or that we have developed, and that we're further tweaking, optimizing to create an anode that both works, but also can be produced at low enough cost. So with this plant that we're building, we can be profitable in initial applications like the glasses, where the willingness to pay for smaller batteries is obviously very high. We need to get costs down further to also be successful in things like smartwatches or, like, in the end, even smartphones. So that's, I think, the key thing that we're still developing. And then also maybe from the commercial side, the market is quite complex, where you have the device manufacturers on the one hand. They are typically very willing to get their energy density or get better batteries. Then you have the cell manufacturers, mostly in Asia, who might be a bit more about efficiency, about keeping costs low, not too many complex new things. So there's a fine line to walk there.
Thank you very much. Thanks very much, Chris. Chris van der Stad, Leidenjar. And that concludes the pitch session, which is part of this session. Thanks for your response, everyone. Particularly great thanks and congratulations to our participants. These are 8 of the over 100 submissions we got for the Startup to Watch competition. The results will be judged by our judges here and announced at the wrap-up at 3:45 today, so not long to wait, but you're all winners in my view. What now follows is a networking session, and how these things work is usually people come to a pitch session because they want money. The people who have the money have limited time, obviously, because they've got to go away and judge. So before I wrap up finally, I would just say if you could keep your conversations with our investors brief, that allows them more time to see more people and spread more love. In the meantime, I'm just going to ask our competitors to stand up and face the room so you know who they are. They are all amazing businesses, and they're all winners. They are the best of the best. And thank you very much to our judges, and please go and enjoy yourself at the back of the room.